everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It is a new year, a new decade. That means a new term is upon us, and we got a lot to go over. Now, it has been a long time since I've made my last video. I'm so sorry. So we got a lot to go over. In this video, I'm gonna give you guys some updates to let you guys know what's been going on in my life the past couple of months and everything that's been going on in school. And as well, I'm gonna take you guys with me as we attempt to get my life together as we prepare for the new term that's coming up here shortly. Before we get into all of that, I first wanna give a quick gratitude moment as we have officially hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Seriously, thank you, every single one of you. It means so much to me. Thank you. And for those who may be new here to this channel, whenever I had first started here, I had always said that, look, I honestly expected that maybe 10 people would watch this channel, but I was okay with that. I was happy with that because I knew that I was gonna connect with, build a relationship with, and really try my best to make a positive impact in those 10 people's lives. And now if we fast forward a year and a half now, we've literally 100 times that amount, which is crazy. It blows my mind. But even still, the mission hasn't changed much, right? I'm still wanting to connect with each and every single one of you and hopefully, to the best of my ability, make a positive impact in your life through sharing my experience through school. And so please, I encourage all of you, whether you're new here or you're one of my first 10 subscribers, to just leave a comment, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and try to connect with me as I'm trying to connect with as many of you as possible. And one thing you can do is if you're interested in having a phone conversation with me, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can click on and schedule a call with me. I don't believe there are very many calls left for this quarter, but nonetheless, go and see if there's an availability, and I would love to meet and chat with you and answer any questions that you may have. So that being said, let's begin with some updates. So we are about to enter, hold on, let me see if this helps. So I'm officially a 7th quarter student. At our school, we do quarter-based system, and so it's a level week class, and then you have a short break after, and so it's a year-long program. So it's 7 out of 14 quarters, and so I'm officially halfway through school. It is crazy how fast this program goes by. I cannot reiterate that enough. This program goes so fast to certainly take it all in while you are here. And honestly, like I said, the 5th, 6th, and 7th quarter are by far the hardest program, or the hardest quarters in the program, just in terms of not just class difficulty, but also just in how busy you are and just how much time consuming and how much effort it takes during these couple of quarters. And in part why I haven't been uploading videos as much is because I've been more busy and had to donate a lot more effort towards school. Also, for those who don't know, I've also been studying to take the Gonstead officer exam. And so we took that at the end of my 6th quarter, just about a little over a month ago. And I passed. Man, these polos are tight. This is like a medium. Yeah, I passed the officer exam, so I'm officially a certified member of the Gonstead Club, which besides getting to wear these really cool and kind of small polos, I have more colors coming in, by the way, soon. I am now a certified member, which means I am a leader of club, meaning that I am certified to teach the Gonstead system at school. So it's really humbling. It was a lot of hard work and took a lot of dedication, but it's certainly been worth it. And for those that don't know, to become an officer, I had to take a 3-part examination, 1 part written and a 2-part practical portion that's taken over the span of 2 days. And so on the first day, we showed up and took the written part first, and so the written part consisted of a 50-question exam that consisted of multiple choice, fill in the blank, and short answer. And we had to pass that exam with an 80% or better just to be able to move on toward the practical portion. And so we took that in the morning, and then later in the evening we had to come back for the first part of the practical, and that's when they told us whether we had passed the written part or not. I passed, which was not an easy feat to do, and then we moved on to the practical portion of the exam. And so the first day of the practical consisted of doing x-ray line drawing and analysis. That was graded for accuracy, correctiveness, and timed. And then after that, we were tested on Gonstead history, x-ray positioning, and biomechanics and theory. And so that was the first night, and then the next night we took the second part of the practical portion, which consisted of case notes, which is essentially a collection of notes on patient management using the Gonstead system, pediatrics extremities, performing the full Gonstead analysis, and then a full section on case management. So then we had to pass the 2 practical portions, all with a 70% or better. So it certainly wasn't an easy feat. There was certainly a lot to study. We had over 4 textbooks. That was all fair game from material, in addition to a huge outline and other notes and resources that we were taught in club. Anyone who may be considering or wanting to follow this track, don't get discouraged. It is certainly possible you can do it if you are disciplined disciplined and you are dedicated enough to wanting to learn the Gonstead system. And I'll tell you this, that I feel more confident ever in the Gonstead system, and I feel that I'm well on my way to becoming my goal of being the best doctor that I can possibly become. All right, we're back. Did I mess my hair up? Whatever. And so we took that test toward the end of last quarter, and then afterwards we got to say yippee for a minute, and then we went right back in to take our finals. And so obviously I passed all my final exams, had a month off of break, and then now we are here, starting a new quarter, a new year, new decade. That is kind of fast tracking everything that's been going on in my life the last 6 months, but we got a lot to get ready in preparation for this new term, so I'm gonna take you guys with me. So nonetheless, let's go ahead and get this thing started. I already kind of cheated and I did laundry and cleaned my apartment, but hey, we still got a lot more planned, so let's go. All right, so first order of business, we gotta get some school supplies. So we are at Staples. I would normally go to Target. There's literally a Target right over there, but Staples, stop. We're just gonna go to Staples because I also have to print off some stuff. I'm printing off some prep work for part 1 boards. What? All right, so we are back from getting our school supplies. I really didn't have to get much as everything's pretty much digital for me nowadays. But I just got a few things, one of which was this basic binder that I have. I just got a 1 subject because I don't need too much paper, but just something to give me just some paper to write in, as well as give me a folder to put important papers and documents in. Now I also have another binder that I keep here in my apartment that I have labeled all of the classes that I'm taking. And then I go ahead and I will store those papers in there, but I like to have a folder on hand, that way I can put important papers there as I receive them, that then I can then store or save them in my binder, and then I will also usually scan them and keep a digital copy as well. I also just got a few, I stocked up on pens. The pens that I love using are the Pilot G2 0.7 if you're interested in getting yourself a good pen. I think you can look them up on Amazon or probably get them at a Staples or any other supply store. Also got some good pencils. And so another thing, I have a new backpack this year that I'm trying out. I found this at home. It's like a Swiss Alps backpack. So it's like extremely like durable. It's very comfortable. It has all of these different zippers and things, which I can put so much more stuff in. More stuff than I probably know what to do with. And it's just overall a very good quality backpack, and it's definitely gonna give me good lumbar support. So excited about this. I really love using the little designer backpacks, but the problem with those is oftentimes they're not very well made and they're not very durable. And I'm a very rough and messy person, and so by the end of the quarter, I have just beat it to shreds. And I think like every backpack that I've had, I've gone through like 3 or 4 different backpacks now in this program, and I just keep beating them up. And so hopefully this thing is definitely durable, and I think it can definitely take the heat. As you've seen in my what's on my back video, it's pretty much standard. The other things that I have in here, just my laptop. I have a new book as I'm starting to get more into reading. This is the biography of Thomas Jefferson. And then the last thing that I got at Staples was my board review. And so I'm gonna briefly talk about this. Now I'm gonna make a full video about in preparation for part 1 boards. I'm gonna be very detailed with how I'm preparing for it, what I'm reviewing, what I'm going over, sharing my tips, and then obviously sharing how I did on boards. That way you guys can take with it and maybe implement or change some things based on how I did it. And so this is the 1 board review that is very popularized in chiropractic. This is the Irene Gold review. Now she also has a class where you go through this entire booklet with her. I am not doing the class. I have found that a lot of people like the class if they love that structure where they can just show up at that time and they can have someone else work with them through all of the material that they'll need to know. I personally much rather do things on my own, in my own time, in my own space, in my own privacy, as I feel like that's well worth my time and as well with my money that I can save and not have to pay for the class. But I have the review book that I got from someone else who took the class, and I went ahead and printed it off at Staples and got it nicely bound. And so I'm gonna be working through this. I'm also going to get another copy, I believe that's out there, that is the National Board of Chiropractic Examiners board review booklet, and so I'm gonna get that as well just for additional material. But like I said, plan for a full video about part 1 boards. If you have any question regarding boards, go ahead and ask them now. That way I can save them and I can touch on those topics whenever I'm making that video. And so a huge part for me in preparing for the upcoming term is going to be making sure that I get my calendar completely organized and set straight. For me, I love putting as much as I possibly can into my calendar. I use a time blocking system so that way each hour of the day is occupied with some task. and I do my best to then organize each section to the best of my ability, so that way everything's prepared and neatly organized. So I'll go ahead really briefly and show you guys what I do for each school term to set my calendar up. So as far as what calendar I use, I personally like to use Google Calendar. And so if I go ahead, first thing I want to do is go ahead and put all of my classes in. I went ahead and cheated and already did this. And now if I click on, say, one of my classes here, let's say we go to Special Senses and we click on this. So this lecture meets weekly from 9 to 11 on Tuesdays, right? So I make sure that I have the timing right. I got the name of the class right. And the next thing I want to do is you can click on this custom tab right below the time and you can hit custom. And so from there, whenever I hit say custom, I can have it repeat every week on Tuesday after 10 occurrences. So that part right there, 10 occurrences is huge because this is a 10-week class. So this class will meet 10 weeks and then it will stop. So I already have it built into my calendar system. So that way, after week 10, the class won't show up on my calendar anymore and I don't have to go through and delete it and all the other remaining meetings. And so the next thing I go to is the location. I go ahead and I put the classroom location on. I don't bother with notifications or anything. I don't need more notifications showing up on my phone. I make sure that it is on my iCloud calendar right there, so that way it's synced up with all of my devices. I like to make sure that my classes all have the same event color. We have blue. And the next thing down here is huge that I do, and this is what I wanted to reiterate and show you guys my calendar. In the section for description, I use this description for a lot of things for my classes. So one thing that I'm gonna go ahead and do right now is I'm gonna go through all of my syllabi for each class. And so as we know for the syllabus, the teachers put what they're covering for each week of the class. And so I'll go through the syllabus and I'll go ahead and copy all the topics and maybe assignments and readings that are due for each week in that class. And I'll go ahead and paste that under each week in that class description. What this will help me prepare me to do is whenever I'm preparing or planning my week at the start of the week on Sunday and I'm reviewing all my classes, I can click on each one and see what we're going over, so that way I can go ahead and read up on that material before I go into the class. And so it helps me stay organized. I'll also put any assignments that are due, readings, or anything else that I need to do work related for that class on that day. And so it's just one extra step that again just makes things extra streamlined for me and much more organized going forward. So it takes a little bit more time up front, but it's so much more time that's gonna save you in the long run. And the next thing I wanna show you guys that you can do, and so after I did all that for each of my classes, next thing I go in and I went to plan all of my club meetings that I have for the quarter. And so as you can see, Monday through Thursday, I have club meetings every night, just how it is. And so clearly my schedule is filled. Even if we look on Tuesday, my classes run from 7 to 6. And then from 6 to 8, I have Gonstead Club. So I'm pretty much going for what, 13 hours in the day there. And so many people may ask, well, when do you have time to study? And so this is a big key component here, is that you see these white blocks. We got an hour on Monday, 2 hours on Wednesday, and 2 hours here on Thursday. That of course I'm gonna use that time wisely to get work done. But in addition, a lot of these classes aren't going to run the full length of time. And so I may have 15 minutes here, 30 minutes there on some days, where then I wanna make sure I'm prioritizing my work to make sure I'm maximizing that time to get work done. And this is one of the reasons why I want to keep track of the assignments, the readings, the material, the work that I need to do, so that way I know exactly what I need to do, so whenever I have some free time up, I can go ahead and use that to the best of my ability and I don't let that precious time slip away. One way that I want to keep track of what work I need to get done is to use Todoist. Todoist. Now I'm going to make a full video in the next video about Todoist, as I'm going to be creating that for the next upcoming quarter, but it is something that is completely changed the game for me in terms of just staying ahead of my work and organizing and planning properly. And then one thing I'm doing now is going ahead and adding in like my workouts, when I'm doing my runs, when I'm gonna hit the gym, when I'm on a meal prep. And even if we look here on Friday, I have a section that I'm going to use to study for boards. And so really quick, one last thing I wanna show you with my calendar is to go ahead and put your professor's office hours into your calendar, so that way you don't have to go back through your syllabus and look up their office hours. That way it's automatically on your, built into your calendar, and it saves you so much time and energy. It might not seem like a big deal, but whenever you need to know your teacher's office hours, you'll be glad that you did this. And so what we can do easily for that, if you're using Google Calendar, is you can just go ahead up to settings here, and then we can go to add calendar, create a new calendar, and we will just call this office hours. And I can put here for 7th quarter, winter 2020. We can go to create calendar. So now that we have created that calendar, we see here that it shows up here as office hours. You can go ahead and change the color if you want or not. But what you can do, and what I'm about to do, is we can go ahead and add all the professor's office hours into this calendar. And what you can do then whenever you need to look at your professor's office hours is you can go ahead and turn all of these off, so that way it will just show your office hours. Again, I'm about to do this, so I obviously don't have it filled out yet, but we're about to do it. And it will save you that valuable, precious in time, but it's more just tedious to have to go through your syllabus. And so I try to take everything from the syllabus and just streamline it and put it into my calendar. That way I don't have to go shuffling through papers or shuffling through online documents. I have it all right there in front of me, saving me time and energy, and it just feels good to be that extra step ahead. All right, so we just got back to the grocery store. I just got some staples, some basic stuff, and I got some food to meal prep with for the week. And so I did a little bit of meal prepping. I'll show you what I got here. We got some very nice chicken, potatoes, some green beans, and then we got this is kind of like a root vegetable kind of stir fry thing that kind of cooked up. It's very, very delicious. And so I'm gonna put these up here in these glass containers, and then this, along with some additional snacks and a few other things that I have, should last me for the week. All right, then I went ahead and also made this Caesar salad. I got the Caesar dressing right there. Then I got another salad mix that I'm gonna make, and I'm gonna put some salmon on that. And then that should be pretty much a wrap for all the food this week. So we just got done with the workout and the sauna. I love using sauna as a part of my active recovery for a lot of reasons. There's so many great benefits to saunas. I actually wrote a research paper about it in my undergrad, but one of the main reasons is that sauna has been shown to increase something called heat shock proteins in your body. And if you're not familiar with what heat shock proteins are, they're essentially an enzymatic protein that breaks down stress chemicals, right? And so I can use all of the anti-stress that I possibly can in my life and in my busy routine. And there's even research that shows that these heat shock proteins even help in your overall health. They improve your immune system and even help to fight disease and even kill cancer cells. So I love going to the sauna. Certainly a lot of benefits to it. I try to get in there multiple times a week. So try it out as a part of your anti-stress routine. And speaking of stress, I had a minute just to check some questions that I got on my Instagram page. And I got a question from Brooks. She had asked, what piece of advice would you give to your younger self heading into chiropractic school? And I thought it was an interesting question, as I feel this page is a reflection of the advice I would give to my past self. But something really hits in mind that I really wish that I took in whenever I was an undergrad student preparing to come into chiropractic school, that I really needed at the time. And I don't know if I would listen to myself, but I sure wish that I would. And so I hope that maybe you guys can take this in too, is to really take ownership of your classes and really just of your priorities and your responsibilities right now that you have in school. Because I feel that a lack of ownership leads to stress and anxiety. And it just puts in perspective like how silly the things we stress about are, you know? I mean, really, when you just look at the global perspective of what humans stress about, it really is silly to be so stressed and worry about the things all of the time. Right, and what I told her to Brooks was the things that you're worrying about right now aren't even gonna matter in 5 years. So what's the point in taking that time today to be worrying about those things in the first place? As I'm growing and evolving, I'm learning to really truly take life day by day. And what that means for me is to take better ownership of my life by being more organized, by prioritize things better, by managing my time better. And so I really want you guys to think of your life as an entity, right? And that you're managing these different businesses, these different facets of your life. And I want you to view school as one of those businesses that you are managing and taking control of, right? And to properly manage a business, what do you have to do? You have to create systems and procedure and organization into that business for it to flourish on its own. Right, and so that's why I'm taking the time to share these things with you with my calendar and my planning apps and things like that. So that way you guys can start to implement them now in school if you're an undergrad or even in your job or wherever you're at right now in your walk of life. so that we can better take ownership of the priorities and the work that you have. So I'm actually about to go to the movies, which will be a nice little break, something fun to do before the hell starts. We're gonna go see 1917, the old wartime film. I'm excited to see this one. I heard it got amazing reviews. So we're gonna go see that, and then I'll see you guys on the other side. I tried taking you guys with me, but last time I did that, whenever I went to the movies, they yelled at me, and then I snuck my camera in and started filming it, and then posted it, obviously, and then YouTube took it down because apparently you can't film movies. But I'm like, I'm just trying to share it with my audience, guys. I'm trying to let them know how the movie is. But they don't like that. That's illegal, apparently. Okay, I'm weird. I'll see you guys on the flip. All right, so just got back from the movie. It was amazing. You guys got to go see it if you haven't already. 1917. Really, really amazing film. I know it won a lot of awards, and it was just an incredible movie. It's going to go down as one of the greats for sure. Man, my thoughts after watching the movie, it's just, not that I'm not going to ruin the movie or anything for those who haven't watched it yet, but the climb is everything. You know, if you're trying to achieve anything great, if you're trying to do something important, especially if you're trying to change lives and really do great things in the world, it's going to be a tough journey, and there's going to be a lot of obstacles in the way. It's supposed to be that way. So as you're going in your goals in 2020, as you're moving in that direction toward success and bettering yourself and accomplishing goals and wanting to help people and achieve your greater mission, know that it's going to be hard. So in those times where you want to quit, in those times where you just want to give up, and the times where you say, what in the heck am I even doing? You just gotta keep going forward. But alright, going back to the apartment, and then we'll close this video out. Alright guys, what's up? We are back at the apartment now. The day is coming to an end, and I couldn't really think of a better way to close this video out than to open up with you guys about my mindset entering the new year, this new season of my life. And so, you know, reflecting, kind of going off what I was talking about earlier with stress, and even looking back on the movie I just watched, 1917, you know, on the driveway home, I was thinking of this. I was like, man, like, life really isn't guaranteed tomorrow. Right? You know, and so how silly is it that I'm stressing over these little things and looking way too far ahead in the future and planning way too far in advance when none of that stuff is really even guaranteed, right? And it made me think, like, life is really truly appreciated when you can just slow down a bit and really just take it day by day and maximize each day by just getting the most out of the opportunities that are so clearly laid out for you right now. Right? How amazing would your life be? And it makes me think of, like, running. You know, like, I'm not much of a runner, right? I'm actually getting into running right now, and I'm really enjoying it. But in the past, you know, I couldn't run more than like a mile at a time. You know, it's not because I physically wasn't in shape to run more than a mile at a time. It was because I physically couldn't run more than a mile at a time because I hated running so much. You know, anytime I would run, I would just wait for the run to be over. Right? I would just be like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, this is miserable, just get me to the end, get me to the next thing, right? Then I can move on. And it made me think, like, where am I doing that in other areas of my life? Like, I love my life and I really truly appreciate my life, but where am I, like, not really just taking the moments in? Where am I not really taking it day by day right now in my life? Right? And so maybe it's something we can all take in. Maybe it's something we can all get better at. You know, not to be thinking too far ahead about, like, oh, whenever I'm in chiropractic school, this, and this. Hey, Steve, like, ask me all these questions about whenever I'm in chiropractic school, what about this, what about this, what about this? Or thinking about whenever I graduate school or after graduation, and then what I'm going to do then and do this and do that. But perhaps it's just to slow down a little bit, not looking too far ahead to this race and that race and that race, but really take it down and slow down a notch into the race that you're currently running, and really see the opportunities around you and really truly appreciate the race that you're on right now. Right? For me, what got me to get into running and really truly appreciate running was actually to enjoy running. Right? To really truly appreciate stride by stride. This may sound weird for people who aren't runners. For runners, you may absolutely agree with me on this. Like, the enjoyment of running, I mean, to a degree, it's the accomplishment of finishing a race for sure. But I think it's actually truly just taking in the presence while you're running, right? To actually feel the feet on the ground, to actually feel your breath, to look around you and to see the beautiful scenery, to look at the people cheering for you on the sideline, right? But if all you're focused on is, oh, when's this gonna be over? When's this gonna be over? You're never really gonna truly appreciate those moments. You're never gonna really see the bigger picture. Right? And so look at that. Look at the race you're in right now in your life. Look at where you're at and be thinking to yourself, like, am I just waiting for this thing to be over? Or am I really truly taking it in right now? Because here's the thing, guys, because I used to do this when I was an undergrad, and I caught myself again doing it now in chiropractic school. That if you keep looking ahead to the next race, you're always gonna be doing that. So you think things are gonna be different whenever you're in chiropractic school? They're not. You think things are gonna be different whenever you graduate? They're not. Because you're coming at it with the wrong, same, ill-minded mindset. Right? So think about that. Maybe that may hit for you. It hit for me deep, and I'm giving you guys the real truth. That if you keep thinking about the next race, the next race, the next race, you're not really running any race at all. Right? But the rat race. That's a one-liner. Boom! But seriously, guys, I hope you guys can take that in for what it's worth and really truly appreciate the race you're on right now. Take it stride by stride. We getting in shape. We running, literally and metaphorically. But I'll see you all in the next one. Keep at it. Keep going. Peace out.